This is Behavioral Echo, where behavior has roots. This isn't just a theory, it's the echo of my childhood.
The psychology of the ignored child. They say being hated is painful, but being ignored is worse because hate still sees you. Hate reacts. Hate confirms that you exist. Ignoring you erases you, and psychology agrees. Research in developmental psychology shows that emotional neglect, not abuse, not conflict, but absence, is one of the most damaging experiences for a child's nervous system. Because when that happens in childhood, it doesn't just hurt feelings, it quietly reshapes a person. You don't notice it at first, because children don't question their environment. They adapt to it. Neuroscience shows that a child's brain is not built to judge reality. It's built to survive it. A child doesn't need perfection. A child needs presence. They need to know that if they disappear, someone will notice. Psychologist Donald Winnicott called this being held in mind. Not physically, emotionally. Some children never get that proof. Maybe you were one of them. You grew up in rooms where your voice echoed back unanswered, where achievements were met with silence, where emotions felt inconvenient, where love felt delayed, conditional, uncertain. Studies on emotional neglect show that children in these environments don't act out. They turn inward, and slowly, without drama, you learn something dangerous. I'm on my own, not because you wanted to be, because you had to be. There's a moment, not loud, not obvious, when a child realizes no one is coming to save them emotionally. Psychologists call this learned emotional self-reliance. That moment changes everything. You stop reaching. You stop asking. You stop expecting. Not because you don't care, because caring hurts too much. You don't break. You adapt, and adaptation becomes your personality. The world calls you mature, responsible, independent. People admire you. But research shows that many mature children are actually children who learned early that having needs was unsafe, because the world rewards children who need nothing. So you become easy, low maintenance, self-contained. You learn to cry silently, to celebrate privately, to carry fear without showing it. Psychologists call this emotional suppression, and long-term studies link it to anxiety, burnout, and difficulty resting in adulthood. And the most tragic part? You call this strength. In psychology, this is called survival conditioning. But you didn't know that. All you knew was that being invisible hurt less than being rejected again. So you shrink your needs, quiet your hunger, make yourself small enough to be safe until something shifts. Because sadness can't live forever without changing form. Research on unresolved grief shows that unacknowledged sadness often transforms into controlled anger. Grief that goes unseen hardens. It becomes anger, not loud anger, not explosive anger, cold anger, the kind that waits, the kind that remembers, the kind that says quietly, I will never need anyone again. That promise feels powerful. It feels like freedom, but it's born from loss. Attachment research shows that children who experience emotional neglect often develop avoidant attachment, a deep belief that closeness equals disappointment. So you build armor. You become hyper-independent, emotionally controlled, hard to reach. Not because you don't want connection. Because connection once meant pain. Your nervous system stays alert, always scanning, always prepared. Trauma research confirms this. The body learns threat faster than safety. Peace feels suspicious. Rest feels earned, never given. Joy feels temporary. Even when life becomes safe, your body doesn't believe it, because the body remembers what the mind tries to forget. That's why stillness feels uncomfort. Why silence feels heavy instead of calm. You were trained in silence, but never comforted in it. So you stay busy, productive, needed, because being needed feels safer than being loved, and society reward. This. They call you strong, reliable, impressive. But psychologists agree, strength without softness is not wholeness, it's endurance. And endurance has a cost, because when you live too long in survival mode, you forget who you are without it. And one day, a question appears. Am I strong because I healed, or because I never stopped surviving? That question hurts because beneath the armor is still a child who wanted to be noticed. And here's the turning point. Healing doesn't begin by fixing yourself. Clinical psychology shows that healing begins with recognition, not correction. Recognizing that what you lived through mattered, that silence left marks, that absence shaped you. You don't have to relive the past to move forward. You just have to stop denying its impact, because the moment you acknowledge that you grew up too soon, that you were ignored when you needed to be seen, your nervous system learns something new. You don't have to survive anymore. You're allowed to rest. And yes, rest feels scary at first, because rest means lowering your guard, letting go of control, allowing softness without punishment. But rest isn't weakness. Neuroscience shows rest as regulation. It's integration. It's when strength and softness stop fighting. Growing up no longer means becoming harder. It means becoming whole. You don't erase the shadow. You understand it. You don't destroy the armor. You learn when to set it down. And that is real power, not rage, not dominance, not isolation, but choice. If you were the ignored child, remember this. Neglect didn't erase you. It shaped you to survive. But you are no longer required to live in survival. You are here now, seen by yourself, and you are not disappearing again.